Now that Dragon Age Veilguard is out, Bioware's full focus is on the next Mass Effect game, with all of their resources being fully put into it. No other games, no Veilguard DLC, just Mass Effect. This was confirmed by John Epler in an interview he gave to Rolling Stone magazine, where it was stated that, with Dragon Age Veilguard now complete, Bioware confirms there are currently no plans for downloadable expansions. The developers' full attention is now shifted entirely to the next Mass Effect as their current project. Now, we have known for a while that Veilguard would not be getting any DLC, which I have mixed feelings on. But we now fully know that Bioware is completely focused on Mass Effect 5. This more than likely means that the Dragon Age team has joined the Mass Effect team to get Mass Effect 5 completed in a decent amount of time. This isn't really new for Bioware or any multi-team developer, as teams have often assisted and worked on other projects within the company. Now, we know very little about the next Mass Effect game other than some basics. Firstly, the game will feature at least one returning character from the original series. Fan favourite Dr. Liara T'Soni will be returning. Mass Effect 5 will also be running on the Epic Games Unreal Engine, which was used to make the original trilogy. We also know that Mass Effect 5 is being led by several developers who have worked on the original trilogy, and last year we were given a hint of our new protagonist in a brief teaser trailer. Finally, following the release of Dragon Age The Veilguard, Mike Gamble, project director and executive producer for Mass Effect 5, confirmed that while both series are from Bioware, the next Mass Effect game will be a Mass Effect game. We should also expect to see mature tones similar to the original trilogy, as well as have a photorealistic experience. With such little information about Mass Effect 5, we really only have theories and ideas to work on. Some of these are sound, and some of these are just a bit out there. So I'm going to go through some of the most popular ones and add my own opinions to them. The setting and canon. Now, it seems that Mass Effect 5 will be taking place in the Milky Way galaxy. This was all but confirmed in the original trailer, where we saw not only Liara, but destroyed Reapers and destroyed mass relays. This, however, has led to many people believe that Bioware will create a canon ending, and that the Destroy ending will be the canon one, as this is the only ending where Reapers along with all other AI are destroyed. Now, it is possible that this Reaper was destroyed during the war, as we do see several Reapers destroyed across the entire trilogy. However, we never see one destroyed on a frozen planet, as is depicted in the trailer. However, we do have some indication that the Destroy ending won't be canon. On last year's N7 Day, some artwork was released of a nightclub, where we do see multiple different alien species, including a dressed up Geth. And since the Geth are destroyed in the Destroy ending, does this mean that Controller Synthesis is canon? Now, it could still be possible that Destroy is canon, or at least an option for players, and the Geth are prepared off-screen after the events of Mass Effect 3. Gamble did say on Twitter that the next Mass Effect game would do right by the players. And to me, that seems to read that they're not going to canonize any ending. So what does that mean for the ending of Mass Effect 3? Well, I think the next Mass Effect game will accept our choices, but they're just going to be irrelevant in the end. This is due to a popular fan theory where many people believe Mass Effect 5 will take place after a massive time jump forward. So even though we can make our choices, they'll just be irrelevant in the end. If we jump forward, it won't matter if we chose Control, Destroy or Synthesis, because maybe in the end the Reapers are destroyed anyway. And this theory of a time jump is supported by Liara in the trailer. Many fans believe that in this trailer, Liara looks a bit older than she did in the original trilogy. Now, an Asari can live to be about 1,000 years old, and by the end of Mass Effect 3, Liara is only 109, making her incredibly young. There also was a Game Informer video where they referenced Liara being around 800 years at the time of Mass Effect 5, meaning that roughly 700 years have passed.
And I feel like if you're interested in the future, obviously we know Liara's much older. I would put her at now around 800 years, given off the trailer, and also I've confirmed that she's much older with the Bioware devs as well. So we know it's very much set in the future.
Now, this information was supposedly given to the person by a member of the development team, but there is no way of confirming this. However, a rough 700-year time jump would bring the setting of Mass Effect 5 right up alongside Mass Effect Andromeda. Connection to Andromeda. Mass Effect 3 took place in the year 2186, while Mass Effect Andromeda took place in the year 2816, making it just under 700 years between the two games. Now, while Mass Effect Andromeda may not have been the success everyone wanted it to be, it still had its fans, myself included. And it is possible that this new Mass Effect 5 will be a connection between both Andromeda and the original trilogy, and we have a lot to support this. We're going to start off with this artwork here, which depicts 4 figures standing outside a ship that is seen in the trailer. While the leftmost figure could be human, the other 3 definitely look like aliens. The one on the right looks like a Solarian, and the centre one looks like a Drell. However, the left of the trio looks like an Angaran, a species introduced to Mass Effect Andromeda that are only around in the Andromeda galaxy. It's possible that if there was a time jump, that travel between Andromeda and the Milky Way might be a bit easier. My best idea of how this could be done is that the Milky Way races found a way to travel to Andromeda much easier, perhaps using Reaper tech left over from the war. We also have the original trailer where you can see both Andromeda and the Milky Way galaxy close to each other in the opening shot. This shot sees the camera fly into the Milky Way galaxy while Andromeda remains in the background. This shot could indicate that while Mass Effect 5 will take place in the Milky Way galaxy, Andromeda, the characters and the events that took place there may still play a role, perhaps providing some story influences, providing a few characters or some themes to follow up on. Gamble has also addressed this shot on Twitter, stating that both galaxies were shown for a reason and that the fans shouldn't feel that Bioware has abandoned Mass Effect Andromeda. Another scene that fans believe adds to the Andromeda will play a role theory is at the end of the announcement trailer. Just before you see Liara's face, you can see a trio of characters standing in the back. These are not the same trio as is seen in the artwork, and many fans believe that the middle figure here is Ryder. Now, I don't know if it is Ryder or if they'll return, but I really hope they do, as I feel there was a little bit more to tell with their story, and I would just like to see them get a bit more redemption in the fandom. Some fans have also noted that the ship here in this poster does resemble the Tempest, and I have to agree with that. You can also hear in the original trailer somebody say Arc 6 is away, Godspeed. The Arcs are the ships that were used to carry the colonists from the Milky Way galaxy to Andromeda. However, only 5 were ever launched. The Human Arc, the Turian Arc, the Solarian Arc, the Asari Arc, and the Unseen Quarian Arc. So either there's another arc out there we haven't seen yet that could play a role, Bioware miscounted, or they're just counting the Nexus as an arc, which I guess could be a possibility. Finally, there is a lot more artwork out there that indicates Andromeda will play a role. First, we have this artwork here that shows structures bearing a strong resemblance to remnant ruins as seen throughout Andromeda. But I also think they have a bit of a Prothean look as well, so that could go either way. Secondly, we're going to return to the artwork of that nightclub where we saw the fancy dressed up Geth. The shot clearly shows an Angaran standing here, and there are plenty of Milky Way aliens around like humans, Asari, Hanar and Geth. And Hanar and Geth never made it to Andromeda. Or at least as far as we know, they may have gotten there afterwards. So what does this all mean? Well, it means Andromeda is at least not abandoned. As I said, I enjoyed Andromeda. It wasn't my favourite Bioware game, it was definitely my least favourite. I do think that Bioware could have launched it in a much better state, given it a bit more time to cook, but I also think it was a bit unfairly treated by fans and the gaming community at large, and that Bioware and EA should have stuck with it and tried to fix it post-launch. I would just really love to see Mass Effect Andromeda return in some way. I'd love for the Andromeda storyline to get wrapped up, I'd love to see Ryder and the crew of the Tempest one last time, to find out more about the Quarian arc, to have the mysteries of the Scourge, Ket, Jardan, and their mysterious enemies all wrapped up. So if Mass Effect 5 is going to take place in the Milky Way galaxy but have connections between the original trilogy and Andromeda, what will the story be about? The plot. Now, as I mentioned in my previous 2 points, it is expected that we will see the Geth again in Mass Effect 5, and I, like pretty much everyone, think that the Geth are going to play a major role in the plot, and the biggest indication that we have is this poster right here. The poster clearly has a silhouette of a Geth head in the centre here, with the line going through the centre being reminiscent of the glare created by Geth eye lenses. We can also see multiple Geth bodies lying around the ground. This was the first poster released for Mass Effect 5 and it did come out after the Liara trailer. So why such a prominent Geth image? Bioware know their fans. They know we will check every little detail in the vain hopes of finding some sort of clue. And a crater depicting a Geth head with multiple Geth bodies around can only be an indication. There's no way they'd put this in if they didn't know we were all going to look at it and think it was important. The Geth also play an important part in the overarching story of the original series, especially when it comes to the theme of the importance and value of artificial life. The importance of artificial life is a theme at the forefront of every Mass Effect game, from Sam to EDI to of course the Geth. And we see the relationship between organic and synthetic life evolve throughout the original trilogy through the Geth. At the start, they are our enemies, servants of godlike artificial life forms that wish to destroy all life in the galaxy. While in Mass Effect 2 we learn a lot more about them. They have their own society, they are divided into multiple factions. Their hatred of organic life is not straightforward. They weren't the aggressors in the Morning War, but they were the victims, and it is possible to actually work with them. And we see that put to the test in Mass Effect 3. We can ally with the Geth. We can bring peace between the Geth and the Quarians. We can do all this in the hopes of trying to find peace between organic and synthetic life. Something that many characters, including the Reapers, say is not possible. And maybe Mass Effect 5 could continue this trend. We've seen them as enemies, allies in war, and now maybe we see them as fellow citizens in a galaxy. Some good, some bad, some just trying to get by. But how could a Geth connect to the plot, you ask? Well, that is due to an unresolved plot point from Mass Effect 2. Back in 2020, a bunch of concept art was released for Mass Effect 5, and each one depicted and was titled around the death of a star. Now, if you played Mass Effect 2, you may remember Tali's recruitment mission. This took place on the planet of Haestrom, where the star was far older than it should have been, and this is believed to be caused by something known as dark energy. Dark energy is a recurring plot point in the series, and it's mentioned a few more times in Mass Effect 2. Gianna Parasini, a Novaria Internal Affairs officer, mentions that her superiors are worried about the potential issues of dark energy. It's also mentioned twice in the Arrival DLC. It's stated that Object Rho uses massive amounts of dark energy to maintain itself and broadcast its signal to the Reapers, while the Alpha Relay, the oldest mass relay in the galaxy, has hidden dark energy reserves that can be used to vastly extend its range. Finally, dark energy is mentioned in Mass Effect Andromeda. The Scourge is a cluster-wide phenomenon responsible for numerous celestial disasters, and it is made up of dark energy in some unknown way. Now, other than this minor reference in Andromeda, dark energy is never mentioned again. The rapidly aging Star plotline is completely dropped from Mass Effect 3. A cancelled plotline for the original trilogy would have shown that as a species evolves, it eventually taps into dark energy. But this use of dark energy would eventually lead to the destruction of the universe. And this is supposedly why the Reapers return to cleanse the galaxy. They're not destroying organic life because they don't think organic and synthetic life can live side by side. They do it in the hopes that some new society will rise up, and this one will be the one to figure out how to stop dark energy from destroying everything. Now, I don't love this plotline. I prefer the idea that the Reapers return to cleanse the galaxy due to the ever-repeating conflict of organic and synthetic life. But I do think there's potential here. So where did the Geth come in though? Well, as I said, we first run into dark energy in Tali's Mass Effect 2 recruitment mission, and this takes place on a Geth world. So perhaps the Geth are aware of dark energy, and they or some sub-faction like the Geth Heretics are trying to stop it or maybe even use it for themselves. Dark energy is what allows for biotics and faster than light travel, and is also heavily linked with the mineral Element Zero. And Element Zero is blue in colour. And you know what else is blue in colour? Okay, so the poster might be a slight stretch, but in the end it all adds up. Dark energy, the Geth, dying stars, they're all linked together. They provide a connection between both the original trilogy and Mass Effect Andromeda. It would allow the dark energy and Scourge plotlines to be all wrapped up, and it has been used in a lot of early concept and promotions for Mass Effect 5. So, if that's the general idea for the plotline, then who are we playing? A new hero or the return of Shepard? Ever since that first trailer and a shot of Liara holding the remains of an N7 piece of armour, many people have wondered if Shepard could return and would they be our new hero. I'll start with that second one first, and it's an I don't think so for me. The N7 2023 trailer clearly shows a new character who I'm pretty sure is meant to be our new protagonist, and I think most people will agree with me. Also, I don't think this person is Shepard because they just don't give Shepard vibes. The look, the body language, it just doesn't feel like Shepard. And it doesn't feel like Ryder either. I think this is a brand new character. And odds are they're going to be human. I remember when Andromeda was first announced and it was confirmed that we would still be playing as a human, and many people weren't happy. Many people were hoping to play as an alien. They wanted to be an Asari or a Turian or a Drell. And I get that, I would like to play as an alien in the Mass Effect world. But I don't think that's what Mass Effect is about. In Dragon Age you can play as any race you want, because in the end, the story or themes for that series aren't really about your race. In Dragon Age, anyone can be a hero, it doesn't matter who you are. Mass Effect, however, is about the human experience. You're not just a human, you're a human in our own future. Similar to Star Trek, I believe we're meant to look at Mass Effect and see what we and our society can become. Sci-fi is always trying to do this. It's showing us our own futures and showing us the best we can be. Or it's showing us the worst we can be as a warning. A warning a lot of people don't take seriously. Now, I've also seen some people think that this trenchcoat character could be the villain. Some people think they have a very intimidating look. And I do get that, they do look intimidating. But I think it's more of a badass intimidating rather than an evil intimidating. This train of thought was also around when the very first trailer for Mass Effect Andromeda dropped, where we saw this unknown figure in N7 armour, and a lot of people thought, oh, that could be the villain. And I think a lot of people thought that that could be the villain because they looked very intimidating. But they weren't the villain. They were Alec Ryder, our father. I'm also going to say, regarding the protagonist from a gameplay perspective, I really hope we see the return of classes and the Renegade and Paragon system. I don't think that the lack of a class or the Paragon and Renegade system really affected Mass Effect Andromeda that much, but it would be really good to see them come back. Now, regarding the return of Shepard, a part of me does really want them to return, but another part of me is thinking, is it possible and is it even necessary? First off, Shepard surviving the end of Mass Effect 3 is incredibly difficult. In 3 of the 4 endings, Shepard outright dies. Well, in one of those endings, the entire galaxy dies, but you get what I mean. But when it comes to the control and synthesis endings, there is no body. Shepard is completely gone when it comes to a physical perspective. In the control ending, their body is destroyed and their mind takes over the Reapers, or at least in some sort of way. It's implied that they're not really Shepard anymore. While in the synthesis ending, their body is completely broken down in the beam. There is nothing left in the end. Shepard can only survive Mass Effect 3 if the destroy ending is chosen and your galactic readiness is high enough. So there's a bit of a long shot for Shepard to survive Mass Effect 3 and appear in Mass Effect 5, and that's not even taking into account the time jump. It could be possible for Shepard to return as a clone, however, perhaps one created by the Reapers in a control or synthesis ending, or one maybe created by Cerberus. I also have this really far-fetched idea that Liara is actually the one to clone Shepard. Perhaps whatever is going on in Mass Effect 5, whatever the threat is so bad, Liara thinks that they need Shepard to come back. They need this legendary hero to save the galaxy once more. But do we really want to rethread the clone plotline again? Honestly, the idea of Shepard coming back is such a long shot, but I really hope we don't see them again. I know not everyone likes the ending of Mass Effect 3, but honestly to me, it feels like a natural ending point for Shepard. Their story has ended, and I think leaving him as this mythical hero figure in the galaxy's history is really good. As for Liara's role in the game, I don't think she'd be playing a major role like a squad mate or love interest like she did in the previous games, although having her as one, especially if she was the past love interest of Shepard, could be really interesting. Most likely Liara is going to play the leader or some important figure in a major faction. Some release bits of information do refer to her as still being the Shadow Broker, but also have this redacted title here. Maybe her role will be similar to that of the Elusive Man in Mass Effect 2. She's not helping us save the galaxy, but she is directing us in the right direction. There's also this theory out there that we're going to play as the child of Shepard and Liara, and just no. It raises too many issues. Not everyone romances Liara, not everyone wants their Shepard to be a parent. Some people think that maybe Liara gets pregnant at the end of Mass Effect 3 when she mind melds with Shepard, but that just seems like such a stretch and not something that would actually happen. This reminds me too much of when people thought Hawk would be the old god baby when Dragon Age 2 was first announced. So these are some of the most popular theories surrounding Mass Effect 5, and for the most part, I think they're right. We're probably going to be returning to the Milky Way galaxy, but Andromeda will probably be playing a role in some way. We're most likely going to be playing a brand new protagonist who is human. There will be an issue surrounding the Geth and maybe Dark Energy in Element 0, and Liara will play a role in some way, shape or form. It's probably going to be a while before we get any concrete news on Mass Effect 5, and even longer before it releases. My guess would say late 2026 at the earliest, but in the end I have no real evidence for that, it's just a gut feeling. But what do you guys think of all the Mass Effect 5 theories? Do you think some of them hold weight? Do you think they're just too far-fetched? What are your own ones, and what do you think of my opinions of them? Let me know down in the comments below, and do give this video a like if you enjoyed it, because it really does help the channel grow. You can also check me out on Twitter and on Medium, and of course you can subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all content going forward. And of course, thank you for watching.